Hello, I'm R.C. Blakes Jr., and I want to thank you for investing in R.C. Blakes Ministries. You know, here at the ministry, we all consider you a part of our extended family. And my prayer is that one day I'll get a chance to meet you personally, to hug your neck, shake your hand, just to embrace you. Right now, we're getting ready to go into the Word of God, and my prayer is that you are tremendously blessed. Thank you again so much from the bottom of my heart. Three things that women need from their men. A woman needs from her man. It is a dangerous thing for a man to attempt to live with a woman and attempt to satisfy a woman that he does not understand, especially in the dimension of something as significant as marriage. A man should never marry a woman that he does not understand, and a man certainly should not marry a woman until he understands certain intangible facts about his wife and marriage. Because when a man fails to understand certain facts about a woman, listen to this very carefully. What happens is his lack of understanding creates a breakdown in the chemistry of the marriage, in the chemistry of the relationship. And actually, this breakdown will begin to happen even before you get to the altar. A marriage always goes in the direction of the wisdom of the man. A wife is simply the product of the man. A woman only reproduces what a man gives her. And this, of course, is wisdom that most men lack for some reasons that at least one that I'm going to mention tonight. So one of the greatest things that a man can do is to take the time to know his wife emotionally. One of the greatest things a man can do is to know his wife emotionally. And to know his wife emotionally will demand an investment of time and energy. See, a lot of men know their wives sexually or physically, but very few men know their wives emotionally. And I say it all the time, of course, the rule is to be broken. And it's not across the board, but in most cases, when a man cheats, it's just because he's immature and he's not gotten that part of his nature under control. But when a woman cheats, generally, it is because there's some emotional deficit in her life relative to her relationship with her man. This is why 1 Peter 3:7 says, likewise, husbands, dwell with your wives according to knowledge. Dwell with your wives according to knowledge. When a man does not take the time to know his wife emotionally, many times he puts her in a compromised position and he's not even aware of it. It's a bad thing for a woman to go home to a man that does not understand her emotionally. Now, I don't think any man can understand all of his woman's emotions. I just don't think. But a man should have a fundamental, basic understanding, a basic connection with his woman emotionally. Now, my mind is going in so many different directions. And this is where, now listen to this very carefully. This is for the women right here. This is where immature women make their mistake in relationships prior to marriage. Because there's something, I will put this up on YouTube. There's something about, a man that's edgy, a man that has swag, a man that has a little bit of bad boy in him. There's something about that man, an unpredictable man to a certain extent, a man that can't be controlled. There's something about that man that's attractive to a woman. And there's a little bit of all of that a man, I'll teach this in some session with men. There's a little bit of that balanced with character and God that a man needs to even maintain a woman's attention. But a woman makes a horrible mistake when she's attracted to that side of a man, that bad boy thing, that edgy thing. And he never really meets her emotional needs. And then she marries him, and then she expects him to be something other than what he advertised. One of the key things a woman needs to understand about a man when you get past, his bank account, his looks, his, being saved or not. Does this man really fulfill me? Does he really connect with me emotionally? Because if a man does not connect with a woman emotionally, watch this. It's going to be difficult for him to even please her sexually after they get married. That's the ideal, of course. If there's no emotional connection, if the man does not relate to the woman emotionally, at some point in the future, she's not even going to be attracted to him. She's not going to be fulfilled by him sexually. A man has to take the time, make the investment of time, yes, I will repost it on YouTube. Take the time to know his woman emotionally. Now let me see something. So the text we just read, 1 Peter 3:7, it commands the man to dwell with his wife according to knowledge. So watch this. A man should make the study of his wife his priority after knowing God. The man should make the study of his wife his priority. Let me give you a real life example. Now, of course, this is 20 plus years. The other day I was on the phone with my wife and we were having a conversation about something, and she's on here now, so she can attest to this. And I said something to her, meaning no harm, but because I knew my wife, or I know my wife, and I'm connected with my wife emotionally, when I got off of the phone, something said, now that hurt your wife's feelings. You need to call back and tell your wife she was actually right. And so I called her back and I said, babe, think about what you said, and you were actually right. And then she said, my feelings were hurt, da 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 da. But what if I were disconnected? What if I did not have what if I did not have my wife's emotional frequency? Might be a very different story, as it pertains to this marriage that so many people find to be, an example. No marriage is perfect, but a lot of people find ours to be an example. But it's because I've taken the time to know my wife. Now, watch this. This is just introduction. A woman, this is for the men. A woman can never earnestly submit to a man that does not know her. A woman can never earnestly submit to a man. Is that Dr. Hightower? Dr. Fred, God bless you all. Thank you for chiming in tonight. A woman can never submit to a man, earnestly submit to a man that does not know her. See, because, watch this, submission for the woman is a process. A woman moves from interest to love. She's interested in a man. Time passes. She learns to love him. It then moves to respect. And after respect, it moves to trust. And after trust, it'll then move to submission. A woman will never earnestly submit to a man that she does not trust. She will never trust a man she does not respect. She cannot move to that place of respect before love and interest. So if a man does not learn his woman, know his woman, she'll never get beyond, she'll learn to love him and may even learn to respect him, but she'll never trust him. And she'll never really submit herself to him because she will never feel emotionally secure. So it is very important in this age, this macho age, all this kind of stuff that's going on. It's very important that you young brothers and even older brothers that don't understand, dial it back a little bit and go back to some of the basics and some of the old school and really take the time to know your woman. Not just in the bed, but know your woman's heart. What about broken trust? That's another subject. It's another subject. It can be repaired, but the person that broke the trust, if it's the man that broke the trust, I assume, it's going to take a lot of work. And usually the immaturity that causes a man to break the trust is the same immaturity that makes the man incapable of repairing it. Usually. Let me say that again. The immaturity of the man that broke the trust is usually the same immaturity that will prevent the man from being capable of repairing it. Now watch this. 3 things I want to share with you. And it's really from, these points come from the life and marriage of Adam and Eve. The first thing that a woman needs from her man is she needs him to be a leader. Every man wants to be in charge, but few men are leaders. I'm trying, Dr. Hightower. You know, you and I got to do me and you and Pastor D must do a Past the Scope one night dealing with these issues from a male perspective, talking to men and even women like I'm doing now. Let's try to organize that sometime in the near future. Number 1, the woman needs her man to lead. Every man wants to be the boss. Every man wants to be in charge, but few men learn to lead. Am I right, Dr. Fred? Few men are leaders. Adam's first mistake, when you go back and you read the account in Genesis, Adam's first mistake was that he did not lead, or he lapsed in his leadership at a certain point. And I imagine after the fall, I can imagine Eve saying, man, I wish you had just led like God told you to do. If Adam were leading, his wife would have never gotten into that conversation. His wife would have never been able to influence him against the will of God. The number 1 thing a real woman needs from a man is she needs him to be not a dictator, not a tyrant, but a leader. Now let me see something. When you think about even the downfall of society, is when men get out of their rightful spiritual and social place as leaders. God bless you. Thank you. When we get out of our place as leaders in the family and the world, it is then that things become topsy-turvy. When Adam failed to lead, his wife took the helm and it all fell apart. When Adam failed to lead, his wife took the helm and it all fell apart. Everybody, you know, in the world today, everybody's talking about how aggressive the black woman is. And the black woman is aggressive, but the black woman is not aggressive for no reason at all. The black woman is aggressive because the black woman, in many instances, does not have a black man at home that will lead. And she's left in a position many days where she has to take the helm. If you look in Genesis 3:6-9, it says, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. Well, there you see the breakdown in leadership. Adam knew better, but he did not do better. At this point, he was not a leader. At this point, he was not a leader. And so when God comes into the scene, God calls for Adam. He says, where are you? And it wasn't as if God was unaware of Adam's, global position. God was asking Adam, where are you? Where are you at, man? Because you're out of the place that I ordained you for. I ordained you to be the leader. And here you are. You're following your woman, but I did not make the covenant with the woman. That's why when Eve ate, nothing happened. But when Adam ate, everything fell apart because God was expecting Adam to lead. Now, to lead requires having a few things: direction, which is vision, conviction, character, and influence. A man will never be able to lead a woman if he does not have a vision or direction, if he does not have conviction or character, and if he does not have any influence. So every real woman needs a man that has a sense of purpose and direction without any sense of indecision. That's why the Bible says in James 1:6-8, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering, for he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. Now, ladies, let me say this to you. When you see a man that's confused and doesn't know which way he wants to go with his own life, don't put your life in his hands. Let me say it one more time. When you see a man that's confused, glad to see Brother Felix in here tonight. When you see a man that is confused and doesn't know what direction he wants to go in with his own life, I don't care how attracted you may think you are, if a man is confused and double-minded about his own life, don't put your life and your potential children's lives in the hands of a double-minded, unstable man. The Bible says nothing gonna work for him. Now, let me see. Number one thing a woman needs from her man is she needs him to be a leader. A lot of you brothers are missing it because you're not leading. 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 And leading, let me see if I can read this. It is very important to understand that leading is not dictating. A leader actually is secure enough to recognize and respect the gifts and abilities of his team. A strong husband does not stifle his wife or reject her input. Rather, he receives her, involves her, demonstrates his love in his leadership, and the result is she will respect him enough to yield when he has a definite conviction. The reason we have such a struggle with submission is because we do not have leaders. When you are, okay, how is it that the same woman that, well, let me not put it that way. I won't hurt nobody's feelings. When we start leading, women will submit to leaders. And again, a leader is not a dictator. Second thing a woman needs from a man is attention. She needs him to watch this. A woman needs a man that will pay attention. She needs a man that will lead. But then secondly, she needs a man that will pay attention. You know what I've learned about women over these 52 years of living is that women are attracted to men that pay attention. And one of the games, now this is free, one of the games that an illicit man will play on a woman that is not wise enough to understand the game, watch this, is that he'll get in her circle and ignore her as though she does not even exist. What that does is it psychologically puts her in a position where she is now caught in the approval trap. She wants his approval. She wants his endorsement. So now she goes out of her way to get his approval or to get him to at least pay attention. Women love men that pay attention, not just, looking up and down like she's a piece of meat, but paying attention to her desires, her words, her conversation, her needs. And when a man fails, when a husband fails, or a significant other fails to pay attention, you're really putting your woman in a position. You're putting your woman in the same position that a woman, you're putting your wife in the same position that a wife puts a man in when she fails or she refuses to take care of his marital needs. She, of course, will never be responsible for him cheating, but she will certainly play some role in giving the devil an upper hand in being able to tempt him. When a man does not pay attention to his wife, it's putting her in the same position, because if she leaves out of the house and there's a man that's paying more attention to her than she's getting at home, she can fall and don't even realize how it happened. But most men don't even know this. Nobody's even taken the time to teach you that if you're going to have a wife, if you're going to have a significant other, the first thing you got to do is invest yourself into paying attention. You can't ignore your woman and think that you're going to get the best out of her. Somebody said, I just fall back. See, that's bad. When a woman starts falling back. All right, let me see. Adam's second error was that he did not pay attention. How could his woman be so far off and he not know it? Wasn't paying attention. Adam's so busy messing around with the corn and the greens and all of this stuff and pruning trees and all this kind of stuff and naming animals that he wasn't paying attention to his woman, his main ministry. His primary ministry, he wasn't paying attention to. So what happens? Eve goes out there into the garden and she begins to have this conversation with some being other than her husband. Now let me read this for you so I don't mess this up. There's a fundamental hurdle built into the male-female dynamic. The only way one can relate to the other, male, female, the only way one can relate to the other is to pay attention. Because we are very different beings. For instance, men are external and generally less complicated. Which today we got a lot of complicated brothers. Brothers are, I don't know, it's getting strange. Brothers are as complicated as women now in some instances, even in the church. Men are moved by what they see and what they physically sense. Women are internal beings and require an ultrasound of what is beneath the surface. Women are moved by the issues of the heart, what is felt emotionally. A man is moved by what he sees and physically senses. Women are moved by the issues of the heart and what is felt emotionally. So for the two to connect and to understand one another, which the woman pays attention to her man. If a woman loves a man, she pays attention to him. A man can love a woman and not be smart enough to pay attention to his woman because he was never trained that way. A man feels like an untrained man feels like bringing the money home, going to church, making love is enough. He does not understand that those things are necessary and they are appreciated, but his woman also has needs that are other than spiritual, financial, and sexual. She has emotional needs, and for her to be happy, she has to feel connected to her man emotionally, but she will not feel that connection if he does not pay attention. And if he does not pay attention, he will not know how to connect with his woman. Now, a man may attain this knowledge that he needs of his woman. He may attain this knowledge through three ways: information, and as in gleaning from others who have experience. This is a means of attaining that knowledge. I hope some brothers that need this knowledge are on here tonight and are hearing what I'm saying, and hopefully they'll take it to heart and apply it. You can attain this knowledge through information. And if you don't believe I'm correct, just go sit down and talk with your woman and ask her. Ask her directly and see what she tells you. And watch her tell you. If you make her comfortable, she's gonna tell you, this is where you've been missing it at in our relationship. This is why I've been, many days I've not been happy, because you don't pay enough attention to me. Number two, he may glean this knowledge from others, information, observation. Pay attention to one's own spouse consistently. Just look at your woman, man. All you gotta do is look at your woman. Pay attention to your woman. See, like, I know my woman. When I said to my wife the other day X, Y, Z, and she said, okay, and I heard the tone of her voice, I knew then that her feelings were hurt. Though she was pleasant and everything was nice on the surface, I knew my woman because I paid attention to her. I said, oh, that tone of voice. And it wasn't nothing nasty or angry or harsh, but I know her. And because I've paid attention, I observe my woman. So I know specifics about my woman. I can look at my woman, man, because I've observed her. Third way you can attain this knowledge: information, observation, communication, which is the hardest means of obtaining the necessary information about one's woman that most men experience. Most men find it like pulling teeth to communicate with your woman, to just sit down, look her in the eye and say, hey, babe, XYZ, let's talk. Communication involves open dialogue between the man and his woman. That's how you get that knowledge. See, Adam didn't pay enough attention to his woman. Adam didn't observe. It wasn't that he wasn't informed. He just didn't observe. He did not keep his eyes on his woman. Let me see. I'm trying to find something here, y'all. Wish I had a physical Bible here. Oh. Hold on one second. Let me go to something real quick. Y'all just stay right there. I want to read something from the Bible, if you don't mind. Y'all not gonna leave me, are you? Let's see if I can get to it. I want to make sure this is what I'm looking for, relative to the man paying attention. Okay, that's not it. Let's see. Y'all give me 1 second. I'm coming back to you. Yes, sir. 1 second. Okay, that's where I want to go. Hold on 1 second. All right. Let me just read this for you. Relative to the man paying attention. Okay, this is in Deuteronomy 24:5. Listen to what the word says. In Deuteronomy 24:5. This is a command relative to brothers that get married. Look what the Bible says in Deuteronomy 24:5. When a man hath taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he hath taken. The law was that when a man got married, he's supposed to stay home. Don't go to war. Don't take care of no major business. Stay home and learn to please your wife. That's the Bible right there. That's the Bible right there. So he was required to put aside warfare and business for at least 12 months to pay attention to his wife. Because watch this. Here's the thing a man needs to understand about his woman. The things that that matter most to your wife are the intangibles. It's not how big your house is. It's not how fancy your car is or her car is. It's not really, how big the diamond is. She wants as nice of a ring as you can get. Trust me, she definitely wants that ring now. It's not about all that. That's not the stuff that's really going to keep your woman happy. The stuff that's going to keep your woman happy are the intangibles. It's when you take the time to love your woman enough to pay attention to her beneath the surface. When you look beyond her physique and you learn her soul. When you learn how to not make love to her body, but when you learn to make love to her mind. Take care home. There you go. Most husbands do not know how to make love to their wives' minds because you ain't paid enough attention. And I've been guilty of it. I mean, it's been a learning experience. Lisa and I have grown together. In the beginning, I didn't know how to really pay attention. I was one of those guys. I thought it was about, pay the bills, buy something nice. And I started seeing that, my wife just wasn't necessarily thrilled with that. She loved me, but she wasn't thrilled with that. And then I started learning as I got a little wiser and a little older that you got to pay attention to this woman, man. And there's some things you got to give this woman that are not physical, not sexual. You can't buy it in a store. See, because what happens is a woman goes through, watch this, because of a woman's, boy, now this is getting deep, y'all. What did God say? Now listen to this very carefully. Listen to this very, very carefully, because this is going to help you understand. Some of you ladies is going to help you understand some things about you and yourselves, rather, and brothers, this is going to help you to understand your woman a little better. I teach that women should not be ruled by their emotions. I just don't believe powerful women, queens, are governed by their emotions. But it is a definite fact that women go through more legitimate emotional twists and turns than men do. Why? Well, when Adam and Eve fell, Adam messed up. One of the things that God said relative to the serpent, Satan, he says, I'm going to put enmity or warfare between you and the woman. The woman has a special responsibility and assignment of warfare with Satan. So the woman goes through some things spiritually and emotionally that we as men don't even relate to. She feels things, she experiences things that we don't even relate to. If we are going to adequately minister to our wives, we're going to have to pay attention to know how to pull them back when they're in that place, cover them. But most men have not even paid enough attention. We just write them off as crazy. All right. So watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. Paying attention in the psyche of a woman is equivalent to loving her. For a husband to a wife, when a husband pays attention to his wife, that is equivalent in his wife's mind as him loving her. This is why you quite often hear women say, you should have knew that. And then they get angry because you didn't know it. And we say, oh, you think I'm a mind reader. No, it's really not that they think that we're mind readers. It's that they probably dropped 100 hints to this situation prior to making that statement. And we just did not pay attention, so we did not. See, are y'all following what I'm saying? See, this is how it works, man. As a man, a woman needs a man that will lead, knows how to lead properly, understands leadership, but then she needs a man that pays attention. She just need a man that pays attention. Just look at me for a minute and observe me and see what I'm feeling and see what I'm going through. Now, all of us as men on days we miss it, because we're not built that way. We're not built that way. And I guess the reason we don't long for a woman to pay attention is because a woman is naturally built to give us a lot of attention. When a woman loves a man, he becomes her total focus until she has children. Then she put him aside. She take them children up for 18 years, Praise the Lord. I'm going to leave that alone. What happens is when a man can demonstrate to his woman that he has paid attention to her, it opens his wife's heart. A lot of time, watch this, okay? Let me help you. I'm going back to the brothers. And ladies, if y'all don't agree with me, hey, y'all don't agree with me, feel free to blast me. I don't have no problem with that. I deal with criticism all the time. I have thick skin. But when a man pays attention to his woman, and she feels as though she has been paid attention to sufficiently, and he, it opens her heart to him. Now watch this. This is for the brothers. A lot of times you're wondering why your wife is not flowing sexually at night with you. You ain't done nothing wrong. You ain't cheating. You ain't messing around. You're going to work. You're going to church. You're coming home. And you're wondering why your wife is kind of cold towards you sexually. Her body's not responding to you like it can and should. What I've lived to learn is if I pay enough attention to Lisa through the day, everything else will work out fine at night. Now that's, brothers, I hope y'all heard what I'm saying. I'm trying to just keep it, G-rated. But if you learn to pay enough attention to your wife in the daytime, at nighttime, it's going to always come out right. I promise you. Okay. All right, number 3, and then I'm out of here. 3 things a woman needs from her man. She needs him to lead. Adam failed Eve in that he did not lead. She needs him to pay attention. Adam did not pay enough attention. And then thirdly, watch this. She needs him to communicate. The nighttime will be the right time. There's Dr. Harper. She needs him. She needs a man that will communicate. Adam's third error was that he did not talk to Eve. What if, okay, watch this. Look how horribly Adam failed. Eve comes to Adam and says, hey, I got this fruit here. Now, Adam knows what God said. What if he had just taken the time to say, hey, babe, no, this is what God said. Now, who are you talking to? Where you get this from? What if he had just taken the time to have that kind of conversation to communicate? Rather than communicate, Adam just mindlessly takes the fruit, just does whatever she says, almost as if he got his mind on something else and just, he just functioning. Don't even realize what he's doing. He wasn't covering her. And if you're not communicating with your woman, you're not covering her. There are times that me and Lisa have to talk. I don't like talking. But I understand that there are times we got to talk. That woman needs to hear what's on my heart, what's on my mind, what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. She needs me to communicate, because if I don't communicate, she's going to begin to what? Assume certain things. And the enemy will then do what? He will take and begin to create imaginations. She'll begin to imagine, your woman begins to imagine things that are not even true. And then you don't discover that your woman has gone left based on some imagination until after the relationship is completely falling apart. And then they say, well, that's not even valid. But she didn't know it because you didn't communicate. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling y'all. I've seen marriages that have fallen apart based on something the woman assumed because the man wasn't talking. And because she was assuming something, it led to, and I've seen this in a number of cases, it led to infidelity on the woman's part because the man was not communicating. A wise man will communicate with his woman. You got to talk to your woman, man. You got to talk to your woman. And I really don't get it. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't get how you brothers that, let your wives and your children go to church, which you should, and you don't go with them, though. And you letting another man teach and indoctrinate your wife and your children, and you don't have a clue what he's saying. Paul said, one of those scriptures that they take and they use to try to say women shouldn't preach is what Paul said, go home, let your husbands teach you at home. Be silent in the church, go home, let your husbands teach you. Well, he was saying that because the women had so many questions like they always do. Women are learners. But what Paul was saying indirectly is that there should be such a communicative relationship between the husband and the wife, and the man should be so informed in the word that he should be able to take and teach her and answer all of her questions at home. There should be communication at home. What's missing in marriages today? We have men that do not communicate. How can you be the leader and not a communicator? It's like me being the pastor and going up every Sunday going, I'm scared to preach. I'm scared. I'm scared. I can't talk. I can't communicate. Well, take your name off the sign and get up off the stage. You can't be the man and be the leader and say you're not a communicator. Any leader has to communicate. Okay, let me see. When you look in Genesis, there's really no record of Adam having any conversation with Eve before the fall. There's no record of Adam having any conversation with Eve before the fall. Other than he said, wow, this is something else here. She gonna be called. He was talking to God then, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. But there's no real record of a conversation. You see him naming animals. You see him talking to God about Eve. You didn't hear him blaming Eve for his disobedience after the fall, but you see no intimate dialogue between Adam and his wife. Horrible mistake. Okay, let's see. For a man, so much talk is simply perceived as you don't trust me and you're trying to trap me. See, when a woman is pursuing a man conversationally, he feels like, watch this, she's trying to trap him, especially if he's still in a shady lifestyle, he does not want to talk. Conversation is, a player's worst enemy. Or if he's newly out of that, maybe, y'all married and he's just been delivered from that, but he still has some of those old tendencies. So he feels like too much conversation is a trap. But a lot of conversation for a woman is her idea of relating and caring. Is this making sense to anybody? Now, oh my God, I got too much to teach you. A man should communicate his mind. A man should communicate his mind. Because a woman needs to know what a man is thinking. Especially if you expect her to view you as head of the house. If you expect her to be submitted to you, you got to communicate your mind. And when you think about it, watch this. God created Eve to be Adam's helpmeet. Eve was designed, created to help Adam. Well, how can you help someone that does not communicate their mind? If I don't speak my mind, how can Lisa help me? The reason Lisa can help me is because I communicate my mind. She knows my heart. She knows my vision. She knows this is what I want to do. Now, sometimes she wants to tell me how to do what I want to do, and she want to tell me what I want to do, and then I got to be man enough to say, no, slow your roll. That ain't what I said. This is what I said I want. And she get hot for a second, and she get back on track because she understands clearly what my mind is. I don't need you to give me my mind. Here's my mind on the oh, she back in here. Ah, Lord. Okay, when a man does not communicate his mind, he will get the same results. He will get the same results that Adam got. He will find his woman following her own mind. And then watch this. A man should communicate his love, and I'm done. He should communicate his mind. The woman needs a man that will communicate his mind, and she needs a man that will communicate his love. The biggest issue with women today is that they do not feel loved by their husbands. And this comes as a surprise to the man because the man feels that all is well. Because for a man to feel loved, all he needs is what? Sex. Communicating love for a woman is much more involved than a sexual encounter. 1 Corinthians 7:33 says, but he that is married cares for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife. And I'll close with this. Bishop Neil Robeson. I got to call Bishop. I haven't talked to him in a few weeks. The renowned Gary Smalley has listed 5 love languages, and they are: number 1, quality time. You want to know how to communicate your love to your woman, brother? Quality times. Pull aside, set aside quality time with your woman. Words of affirmation. Say something every day to build your woman up. Every day. Say something to build your woman up. Gifts. Go buy your woman something. Stop being so cheap, man. Go buy your woman something. You don't need another car. You don't need more rims. Go buy that woman something. Your wife don't have nothing in the house that you bought for her. Acts of service. Wash the dishes, man. Vacuum the floor. You know, acts of service. Go pick the children up. Tell your wife you're gonna take care of the children. Let her go off somewhere. Tell her go find a friend. Let them go have dinner or something. Give her the money to go. You know, physical touch while your wife washing your dirty dishes. Walk up behind her. Just wrap your arms around her. You know what to do. I ain't got to tell you on this Periscope. Wrap your arm around your woman. And just, kiss on her neck. Tell her you love her. See, you got to learn to communicate your love. Most brothers have not learned this. We so busy trying to be hard. Man, that's for the streets. You don't bring the streets up into your house with your wife and your children. Your wife is supposed to know you love her beyond a shadow of any doubt. You're supposed to communicate it 24/7. See, that woman know I love her, man. She ain't got no doubt about that. Now, she may get mad with me. I may hurt her feelings, but that woman know I love her.
Dancing in the night, lost in rhythm tight. Heartbeats take the flight, love sparks ignite. Stars above us shine, euphoric feelings climb. Held in beats of time, harmony so fine. Symphony of love in the sky above. We become the dove, fly and join my love. Moonlight on our skin, where dreams do begin. Melodies within, hearts forever kin. In the rhythm's trance, every step's a dance. Mystery, romance, chance and circumstance. Symphony of love in the sky above. We become the dove, fly and join my love. In the rhythm's trance, every step's a dance. Mystery, romance, chance and circumstance. Symphony of love in the sky above. We become the dove, fly and join my love.
Do you know I love you, babe? Tell the people. That woman know I love her because I communicate it in every way possible. I communicate my love for that woman. And a wise man communicates his mind, and he communicates his love. So, yeah, Dr. Harper, I'm going to let you deal with all that. Yeah. So that's my little lesson for tonight. Once again, I want to thank you for investing in R.C. Blake's Ministries. I want you to go by my website, www.rscblakes.com. There you find access to all of my social media. My store is there. You can see all of my books and my products, as well as keep up with me and where I will be in the nation or even the world. Remember, we love you, and you're on top and you're going higher. God bless.